Hey everyone, Chris here, the RC Geek, coming to you from the shop today, and we're taking a look at the E-flite EC-1500. Now, the airplane comes out of the box in a faux Coast Guard kind of color scheme. Obviously, you see that's not the case here. I've done a full repaint on the airplane. Actually, I did a full video on that a while back, and I've got a link in the corner if you want to see that. But I really didn't know what to expect from this airplane. It's a fantastic flyer. It's been a whole lot of fun to have and fly around. It's got a cargo door in the back. It's got a full complement of lights, and so yeah, it's been a really fun airplane to have. The airplane is inspired by the C-27 Spartan, and so I ultimately turned it into one. Although the Coast Guard color scheme does work as well because the airplanes are being operated by the U.S. Coast Guard. Now, in terms of the assembly, it's really simple to put together. It comes in the big, large components. And everything's either fastened or snaps together. Now you start with the vertical tail, and that just screws into place, and then the horizontal tails slide onto a spar, and those actually clip into place. There's no mechanical fasteners there. It's just a snap release kind of setup. So it does have a hidden elevator linkage, which I was really happy to see. There's two paddles that stick out that engage into each of the elevators, and so that's how it's operated. The servo is internal inside the airplane, and so from there the wings slide over the wing spar. You got 4 screws hold it in place. They're nylon bolts that screw in from the top, and that's most of the assembly. Now I want to mention on the wings, the flaps and ailerons are reconfigurable. So the airplane comes out of the box with large ailerons, small flaps. I knew that I wanted to do kind of a scale setup with the airplane, and so I reconfigured those to the small ailerons and large flaps because I wanted to have some fun with the slow flight characteristics of the airplane. So to do that, there are 2 joiners that are included with the kit, and so if you want to configure for the large flaps, there's 2 pieces of tape you got to remove, and that joiner can be removed. And then there's a separate joiner for the flaps specifically, and so then you insert that joiner into the flaps, tape it into place, and that's about it. It's really simple to do, and I really like the fact that you have that option. If you want something really aerobatic, you can have the large ailerons. If you want something to play around slow flight and have nice big flaps for high lift, then you've got that option too. And then from there, it's on to the props. The airplane's got these awesome 5-bladed scimitar props, counter-rotating. And so I want to mention, when you put the props on, they use a cinch collet. And if you slide that collet all the way in place, it actually bottoms out up against the motor can. So in order to get a complete cinch on the collet, you want to slide it in place, back it off of the motor about 1/16 of an inch, and that's going to give enough room for the collet to really cinch down hard when you tighten up that prop nut. So then once the props are on, then spinners go on, those just screw into place, and that's about it on the assembly. You know, the airplane together on the bench, it's a nice large wingspan. It's a 1.5 meter. It looks good. You've got the full complement of lights. You've got the cargo door in the back, which has been a whole lot of fun as well. The Coast Guard color scheme does work, but I really love it in the C-27 Spartan colors. So with the airplane all assembled, then of course it's onto the radio setup. Not hard to do at all. You do need 5 channels because you do have the cargo door in the back. There aren't any retracts, although that would have been cool. Definitely not necessary at all. But for the controls, I ultimately settled on high rate ailerons, which makes sense because I've got the small aileron configuration, and then low rates on the elevator. And so for the controls, for the elevator, 15 millimeter up and down with 15% expo. For the ailerons, 27 millimeters up and down and no expo at all there. For the rudder, 38 millimeters left to right with 25% expo, and that helps desensitize the steering a bit. And then for the flaps, I'm at 28 millimeter for the mid setting and 44 millimeters for the full setting, and I've got a 5% and a 9% down elevator mix, respectively, and that equates to about 1 millimeter of down elevator at the full flap setting. Now, one of the things I do want to mention, the airplane does feature safe, but if you bind the airplane with safe off, you end up with limited rudder travel. So what I recommend, bind the airplane with safe on, assign safe to a switch, and then turn safe off, and that's going to give you the maximum amount of rudder throw. So keep that in mind when you're setting up the airplane. Now, in terms of the CG, I'm using a 4-cell 6250 milliamp hour battery. It's a roaring top pack. Works fantastically, and I can fly for days. Ends up giving the perfect CG. That battery is pushed all the way forward up against the steering servo, and the CG falls out perfectly. That places the CG at about 70 millimeters as measured from the wing root leading edge aft. Now, flying the airplane, I will say that I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I really didn't know what to expect because it's not the typical model I might go for, but I have had an absolute blast with the airplane. The cargo door adds another element that we have so much fun with at the field. I picked up a mini tank that just drops into the back door, and so we'll do touch and goes all day long, dropping the tank out the back and having a good time. That aside, the airplane is extremely aerobatic. It'll do any kind of scale aerobatics you want to throw at it. Knife edges, loops, rolls. It's got great vertical. It's got really good responsiveness on the controls. And so it's just a fun aerobatic airplane to have and fly as well. So let's take this out to the field, give you guys a flight, show you what it can do, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap this up.
Landing. I just took a couple rocks and I went like this for like 8 minutes until it started to kind of fatigue.
All right, guys, there we have the E-flite EC-1500. You know, this is such a fun airplane to have in the hangar. We have a blast every time we bring it out to the field. And so, yeah, if you're looking for something that's got the additional dimension of the cargo door, that's aerobatic, you can have all kinds of fun with, this is really a great candidate. And, you know, in C-27 colors, I absolutely love the looks of it. And so, yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to follow along on social media at the RC Geek. Subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you at the field.